production of the Vagina Monologues. My name is Jameson Sellers.
I'm Shannon Nelson.
And we are two of the four co-producers of this evening's show. We just want to welcome you to the stage and let you know a couple things before we get started.
Thank you so much for helping us raise money. Throughout the past week, all the proceeds are going to Clara House, Greensboro's local women's shelter, as well as the VA campaign, which aims to end violence against women. Prior to tonight, we've raised $1,552. We'll be able to give you a final count at the end of tonight's show. During the intermission, we encourage you to please go buy more stuff. Again, it goes to a great cause. We have t-shirts, buttons, lollipops, and baked goods. They're all really tasty.
So we just want to give a couple shout-outs and thank yous to our sponsors, of whom we couldn't go on without. So thank you to the EUC for hosting us in their auditorium. Thank you to the Wellness Center at UNCG. And thank you to Housing and Residence Life, Social Justice and Diversity Committee, as well as our Residence Hall Association.
Some of the scenes may be intense. If at any point you feel triggered, we do have a counselor in the back. So if at any point you need to tap her, feel free to do so.
So if you haven't already done so, please take a moment to silence your cell phones. And please note that the ladies who are performing tonight are not mic'd, so minimal movement from the audience will reduce distraction for them. And there's no flash photography, but if you'd like to record, you may, as long as your camera doesn't have a flash on it. And you'll see that there's a camera here, so please just try to not disturb that as well. So again, thank you so much and enjoy the show.
We were worried. We were worried about vaginas.
We were worried what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes even years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she just didn't have the time. She was busy. Looking at your vagina, she said, is a full day's work. You got to get down there on your back in front of a mirror that's standing up on its own, full-length preferred. You got to get in the perfect position with a perfect light, which is enshadowed somehow by the position you're at. In the light, you get all twisted up, you're arching your head up, you're killing your back, you're exhausted by then. She said she just didn't have the time.
So there were vagina interviews, which became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, younger women, married women, single women, lesbians, college professors, corporate professionals, sex workers, teachers. Okay, at first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a little shy, but once you got them going, they couldn't be stopped. They got all excited. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas, mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe a medical instrument. Vagina. Vagina. No matter how many times you say it, it never sounds like a word you want to say. It's a totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct, darling, could you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We are worried about vaginas, what we call them and what we don't call them.
In Great Neck, New York, they call it a pussycat. A woman there told us that her mother used to tell her, don't wear panties to bed, darling, you need to air out your pussycat.
In Westchester, they called it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
There's powder box, popey, peepee, paleo, punani, a pal, a peesh.
Toady, deedy, nishi, dignity, monkey box.
Coochie snooter, cootie, labby.
Ghoulie, pussy, tamale, totina, Connie.
VA, wee-wee, horse spot, nappy dugout.
Mongo, mookie, pajama, fanny bone, bushmallow.
Gladys Siegelman.
A Mimi in Miami.
A split niche in Philadelphia.
A Schmend in the Bronx.
We were worried about vaginas.
Some of the monologues are based on one woman's story. Some of the monologues are based on several women's stories. This monologue is based on one woman's story. Although the subject came up in every interview and was author's fraught, That subject being
hair. You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. It was all puffy and exposed, and I felt like a little girl, and you know what? This excited him. When he made love to me, my vagina felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub, but painful, like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire, and there were like screaming red bumps, and I just refused to shave it again. But then, my husband had an affair. Yes he did. And when we went to marital therapy, he said it was because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had a German accent and gasped, in between sentences, to show her empathy. She asked me why I didn't want to please my husband sexually. I said it was because I thought it was weird. I felt little when my hair was gone down there, and it got all irritated, and even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She said marriage was a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would keep my husband from screwing around. I said, help, do you have many cases like this before? She said questions diluted the process, and I just needed to jump in, and she was sure it was good beginning. Whatever. This time, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize. And he clipped it a few times, and there was a little blood in the bathtub, and you know what? He didn't even notice because he was just so happy shaving me. Then, later, when he was pressing up against me, I could feel the spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. I realized then that hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the house. You have to love hair to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions.
If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, or a pink boa.
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting.
Emeralds, sequins, an evening gown.
A tutu, Armani only. See-through black underwear, a taffeta ball gown.
Something machine washable.
Costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, Angora, a red bow.
Ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels, lace and combat boots, purple feathers, twigs and shells, cotton.
A pinafore, a bikini, a slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down. Is that you?
Feed me. I want. Yum, yum. Oh, yeah.
Start again. No, over there. Lick me. Stay home. Brave choice.
Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More, more. Remember me?
Come inside. Not yet. Whoa, mama. Yes, yes. Rock me.
Answer at your own risk.
Oh, God. Thank God. I'm here. Let's go. Find me.
Thank you. Bonjour. Too hard. Don't give up.
Where's Brian? That's better. Yeah. There.
A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 were interviewed. These interviews were most prominent, possibly because these women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. She washed herself in the shower and bath, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At the age of 72, she went to therapy, as they do in New York, and with the help of her therapist, she went home one night by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic. When she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. This monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp and clammy. You don't want to go down there, trust me. You get sick. The smell of the mildew and the clamminess and woo! It smells unbearable and it gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. Didn't blow up or catch fire or anything. It wasn't that dramatic. I mean, no, never mind. No, I said never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a young girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down there's for anyway? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay.
There was this boy, Andy Lepkoff. He was cute, well, I thought so, and tall like me, and I really liked him. He took me out for a date in his car. I can't do this. I can't talk about down there. You just know it's there. It's like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes and things get caught, little animals and things. And sometimes it gets wet, and people have to plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it. I mean, it's part of the house, but you never think about it or see it. It has to be there, though, because every house needs a cellar. Otherwise, the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, right. Andy Lepkoff, right. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. They were smushed up against the dashboard. I was looking at my big kneecaps when all of a sudden he kissed me in this surprising take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And, well, I got excited. So excited and, well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded out of me, right out of my panties, right onto the seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard, that I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe up the flood with my dress, but it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy called me a weird, stinky girl. He took me home without saying another word, and when I got out of his car and closed the door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the thought of flooding again made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have these dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream, we'd be out, Bert and I. It was this restaurant that looked like the type you see in Atlantic City, all big with the chandeliers and things, and thousands of waiters with the vest. Bert would pin this orchid corsage on my blazer. We'd laugh. We were always laughing, Bert and I. Then he'd look me into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would start to fly out from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the flood would come straight out from under there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There would be fish inside it and little boats and things. And Bert would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past in their little evening gowns and tuxedos.
I don't have those dreams anymore. Well, not since they took out everything connected to down there. Uterus, the tubes, it all had to go. That doctor thought he was being funny. He used to tell me, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. But who needs it anyway? It's highly overrated. And I've done other things. I love the dog shows. And I collect antiques. You ask me, what would it wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It'd wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not a person who speaks. It's a place. A place that you don't go. It's locked up, it's closed, it's down there. You happy? You got it out of me. You got an old woman to speak about her down there. You feel better now? Actually, you know, you're the first person I've spoke to about this, and I do feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip. The center, acute and deep, the scent, delicate, the petals, gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from a woman who runs the Vagina Workshop, who believes in vaginas, who help other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas.
In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas look like to us. One woman who was pregnant, she drew a big, red, screaming mouth with coins spilling out. Another very skinny woman drew a kind of serving plate with a Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a hole in space, and the squiggly lines were meant to be people or things or just your basic atoms that got lost there. I had always thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles around the earth. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. For example, I did not see it as something attached to me.
In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with our hand mirrors. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report back to the group what we saw. I must tell you that everything I knew about my vagina up until this point was based on hearsay or invention. It had never really occurred to me to look at it. My vagina for me existed on an abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it, like we were in a workshop when our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this other bloody, complex world inside, right under the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. And the thing that surprised me the most were the layers. Layers inside layers, opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came to my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop had called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat, my legs spread open, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon, so ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and proper freshness of the English garden. It was funny, very funny to me. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek, open and close.
And then, the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women in the workshop had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I didn't raise my hand, but I had had orgasms before. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because although I had had orgasms, I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was a mystical, magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, contrived, manipulative. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone and the mystery. But the problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 long years. I hadn't had a magical accidental orgasm in a long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the Vagina workshop. And then, the moment had arrived that I both longed and dreaded. The woman who ran the Vagina workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason, and I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous life-consuming fantasy that someone was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was going to come into my life to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris. I had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was in fact terrified that I didn't have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those incapables, one of those frigid, dead, shut down, dry, apricot tasting, bitter, oh my God. I lay there with my mirror, looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10, and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in a lake, and how I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over stones and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew I'd be punished.
The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, heavy breathing and sweating. She came over. I told her, it's gone, I've lost my clitoris, I should have went swimming. The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it.
Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back and closed my eyes. I put the mirror down and I watched myself floating above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I bounced and I landed and I landed and I bounced. I came into my own muscles and blood and cells, and then I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy and I fit. I was all warm and pulsing and ready and young and alive, and then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay, and then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke open into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which opened onto a plane of music and colors and innocence and longing, and I felt connection, calling connection, as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, a destiny.
I am arriving as I am beginning to leave.
My vagina, me.
Here is a vagina happy fact. This is from Woman in Intimate Geography by Natalie Andre. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerve fibers to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers that is found in either the male or female body. And including the fingertips, lips, tongue, and is twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you've got a semi-automatic?
As part of E's work to include the voices of all women who face violence, she interviewed a diverse group of transgender women in preparation for creating this piece. Her idea was to transform this wide range of experiences into a Greek chorus was an elegant way to give many voices the feeling of one voice, united. Punishing the feminine was one overreaching theme of these interviews, and this can take many forms. Some women in the transgender community face violence from a very early age because they are not so feminine or because they show inappropriate interest in things considered feminine. For those, the violence comes later because they are not feminine enough. Those who do not pass the gender muster often get pushed into the fringes of society, especially their youngest and most vulnerable. Yet, they stay true to their hearts, despite every attempt to break their spirits. This monologue moves from childhood through adversity and into the maturity, wisdom, and joy of affirming who they are, women who face a difficult road just to claim that name. In the end, they endure, they survive, and they share in the pride of expressing femininity with all women in one voice, united.
At 5 years old, I was putting my baby sister's diapers on. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought it would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell like my mother. Her sweet aroma lived in my hair, on my hands, in my skin. I ached to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why I was missing my bathing suit top of the beach. Why I wasn't dressed like the other girls. I ached to be completed. I ached to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It had nothing to do with who you are or your fear of heights. But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting.
To touch.
To pet.
To hug.
To help.
To hold their hands.
For trying to find church like Sister Betrayal.
For doing cartwheels.
Crocheting socks.
For carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
They punched my lipstick mouth.
They beat the
Girl
girl out
on
of
my
my
boy.
way.
Or they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Go punch him back.
I grew a full beard.
It was good I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up and drive on.
I became duller.
Jaded.
Sometimes cruel.
Butchered. Butchered up.
Always clenched, inaccurate, incomplete.
I ran away from home.
From school.
From boot camp.
Ran to Miami.
Greenwich Village.
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans.
I found gay people.
Wilderness lesbians.
Got my first hormone shot. Got permission to be myself.
To transition, to travel, to immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I counted the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
The feminine is in your face. I lift my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
And my voice, it's all about resonance. Sing, song, men are monotone and flat. Southern accents are really excellent, and Jewish accents really help. Hello, my friend.
And my vagina is so much friendlier now. I cherish it. It brings me joy.
The orgasms come in waves. Before they were jerky.
I'm your girl next door.
My lieutenant colonel father ended up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think of her, that she made this happen, until I came to church and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I got to be soft. I'm allowed to listen. I'm allowed to touch. I'm able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer to me now.
I can wake up in the morning and put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's a loud car alarm. When I got my vagina, it was like someone finally turned it off. I live now in the female zone. But you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you come from someplace else. They don't like it when you mix. They killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely as he slept with a baseball bat. They beat this girl out of his head. They didn't want him dating a foreigner. Even though she was pretty and she listened and was kind, They didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity. They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
This monologue was based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's kind of embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea and Anya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of a patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite! I know the story. Like, if we had grown up in a culture where we were taught that fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes. Lying on our back, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I was one of those people that looked at it, and from that moment on, I wish I hadn't. It made me sick. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I pitied anyone that had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Little cotton comforters, little velvet settees, or leopard rugs, or pretty things. Quilted pot holders, place settings. I got so accustomed to this I lost all memory of even having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, well, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man you've ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. Bob did not like spicy foods or listen to Prince. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He didn't have any problems or issues and wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't self-involved or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't funny or articulate. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change that I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, well, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. It turned out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled. But most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here. No, you. I need to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light. Then he said, okay, I'm ready to see you. Right here. I'm right here. Then he began to undress me. Whoa! What are you doing, Bob? I need to see you. No need, I said. Just do it. I need to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before. Bob continued. He would not stop. My God. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it? No, he said. It's who you are. I need to look. He looked and looked. He got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. Your You're so beautiful, he said. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? I said. It was like he read my palm. I saw that, he said, and much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he was studying a map or observing the moon, staring into my eyes, but it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful, so euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. Bob wasn't grossed out or anything like that. And me, well, I began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.
This is a not-so-happy fact found in UNICEF's 2005 report. Female genital mutilation and cutting, a statistical exploration. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 130 million girls and young women. In the 28 countries where it is practiced, mostly in Africa, about 3 million young girls a year can expect the knife or the razor or glass jar to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In a man, it will range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased agony and danger during childbirth, and early deaths.
At this time, we're going to take a 15-minute intermission. Again, we have shirts, buttons, lollipops, and baked goods for sale. Please help us continue to raise money for great proceeds. And make sure you're back in your seat by 7:50. You don't want to miss this next act.
My vagina's angry. It is. It is pissed off. My vagina's furious, and it needs to talk. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking of ways to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina, spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy? Vagina motherfuckers!
All this shit, they're trying to shove us up, clean us up, and make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off, and it's staying right here. Like tampons, what the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton just stuffed up there? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it. It closes up, and you need to work with the vagina, and you need to introduce it to things, and that's what foreplay is all about. I mean, you need to introduce it away and engage my vagina's trust, and you can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton.
Yeah! Stop shoving things at me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe them when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're doing, trying to clean it up, make it smell like a bathroom spray or a garden. All those douche sprays, floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain, all cleaned up like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it.
Then there's exams. Who thought that up? And there's got to be a better way to do them. I mean, why do they have you wear a scary paper dress that scratches up your tits and make you feel like a crunched up piece of paper that no one wants anymore? Why the rubber gloves? And why the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? It makes you feel like there's double lips inside of you. What the hell is that? My vagina's angry about those visits, and
like the house. Then you get there. Don't you hate that? Scoop down. Relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove mean cold duck lips inside of it? I don't think so. I mean, why can't they find some delicious purple velvet, wrap it around me, lay me down on a feathery cotton spread, wear some friendly pink or blue gloves, place my feet in some fur-covered stirrups, warm up the duck lips, work with my vagina.
But no, more tortures, dry wad of fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong underwear? That's the worst. Thong underwear? Who thought that up? Moves around all the time, gets stuck in the back of your crusty butt.
Vaginas are supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that, something to give them pleasure. But no, of course, they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice soft pair of cotton underwear with a little French tickler built in. Women would be coming all day long. I'm talking about coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it, seeing all those not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas.
If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would do vagina impressions, and it would not wear any clothing, just there, all draped in diamonds.
My vagina helped release a giant baby. It thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now, it wants to travel. It doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more.
It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants. My vagina. Well, it wants everything.
Bosnian women refugees were interviewed during the war in Yugoslavia in refugee camps and centers. 20 to 70,000 women were raped in the middle of Europe as a systematic tactic of war. It was shocking to see how little people did to stop it. But then again, in the United States, each year, about 200,000 women are raped. That's another kind of war. This monologue is based on a woman's story, and we do it tonight for that woman and the extraordinary women of Bosnia and Kosovo.
My vagina was green. Water, soft pink fields, cows mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly with soft piece of blonde straw.
There is something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since.
My vagina was chatty. Can't wait. So much saying words, talking. Can't quit trying. Can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes.
Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal sewn in down there with black, thick fishing line. And the dead animal smell cannot be removed, and its throat is slit, and it bleeds through all my summer dresses.
My vagina, singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina songs, vagina home songs.
Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside me. So cold the steel rod canceling my brain, I don't know whether they're going to fire it or shoot it through my spinning heart. 6 of them, monstrous doctors with black masks shoving bottles up me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom.
My vagina, swimming river water, clean spilling water over sun-baked stones, over stone clit stones, over and over.
Not since I heard the skin tear and make lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand. a piece of the lip. Now a whole part of the lip is completely gone.
My vagina. A live, wet water village. My vagina. My hometown.
Not since they took turns for 7 days smelling like feces and smoked meat, they left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died. And the fish. My vagina, a live, wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now. And I don't know where that is.
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, an indication that I want it, that I give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off of me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. Although it has been before, it won't hold up in the new court. To be completely honest, my short skirt has nothing to fucking do with any of you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass or feel to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or uneducated or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am before you made me cover it or tone it down. Get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. Yeah. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the woman's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish. A summer festival in the starry dark, a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign town. My short skirt is a full breath, a wild spin, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, and excitation. But most of all, and most importantly, everything under my short skirt is mine. Mine.
We've created a map of vagina-friendly cities. Welcome UNCG. There are wild vaginas in Pittsburgh. In fact, one woman from Pittsburgh was obsessed with a particular word, a prerogative word, used to describe the vagina. Her mission was to reconceive this word.
Yes, girl. I call it cunt. I've reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Cunt. Listen to it. Cackle. Clit. Cute. Come. Closed. See. Closed inside. Inside. Then curvy, inviting shark skin. You. Uniform. Under. Up. You. Then N. Then con. Then con. Then curvy, inviting shark skin, then snug letters fitting perfectly together. N, nexus, now, nice, always depth, always round, in uppercase, con. A jagged, wicked electrical pulse.
Then soft, warm, then tea, then sharp, certain, tangy, tea, texture, tent, take, tight, tantalizing, tensing, taboo, tantalizing. Tell me, cunt, say it, tell me, cunt,
A 6-year-old girl was asked, if your vagina could get dressed, what would it wear?
Red high tops and a Mets cap worn backwards.
And if it could speak, what would it say?
Words that began with V and T. Violin and turtle are examples.
What does it remind you of?
A pretty dark peach or a diamond that I found in a treasure, and it's mine.
What's special about your vagina?
Somewhere really deep inside, it has a really, really smart brain.
And what does it smell like?
Snowflakes.
Sex workers have rich, compelling, complex relationships with their vaginas. This particular woman, well, she blows my mind. She's a sex worker, but she only did sex work with women.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this. No, to the contrary. I started out as a lawyer, but in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It was kind of interesting. I didn't start out like this, like I said, but it was interesting. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women, laced in silk and leather. I used whips, handcuffs, ropes, dildos. There was nothing like that in tax law, and I hated those blue corporate suits. Although, I wear them from time to time in my new line of work, and they serve quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law. No wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplays, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths, but especially, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyway. See, this was the thing, I see now. Moaning was the thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I used to watch women in the movies making love, making strange orgasmic noises. I used to laugh. I got quite hysterical, actually. I couldn't believe that these outrageous, ungoverned sounds like that came out of a woman. I longed to moan. I would practice in front of a mirror, on a tape recorder, in various keys and various tones. But whenever I played it back, it sounded fake. And it was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, just in my desire to be sexual. But then, when I was 10, I had to pee really badly on a car trip once. It went on for almost an hour, and when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, I was so excited, I moaned. I moaned while I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me, moaning in a Texaco gas station in the middle of Louisiana. But right then and there, I realized that moans were connected with not getting what you want right away, with putting things off. Moans were best when they caught you by surprise, when they came out of this hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were in fact that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus and eventually they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes, the walls were too thin. People stared at me with contempt on the elevator. I was beginning to get a reputation. Most men thought that I was too intense. But some, they even called me insane. I began to feel bad about my moaning. I got quiet and polite. I learned how to choke my moan, hold it back like a sneeze. I was beginning to get headaches and other stress-related disorders when I discovered women. I discovered that most women, in fact, love my moan. But most importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned, when I was responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women, and I found a hidden, mysterious part within themselves that they shot themselves within their moaning. I made love to moaners, and I found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was kind of like a surgery, a delicate science, finding the exact location or the home of the moan. That's what I call it nowadays. It was interesting because sometimes I found the moan over women's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not the violent, oppressing force, more like the dominating. I'm going to take you someplace, don't you worry, sit back and enjoy the ride kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I found the moan before things even got started. Real simple, with my fingers. Here it is, like that, in the kitchen, all mixed in with the balsamic vinaigrette. Sometimes I made the woman find her own moan right in front of me. I waited, stuck it out, until she opened herself. I wasn't fooled by the minor, more obvious moans, no. I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. The clit moan. Oh. The vaginal moan. Oh. The combo clit vaginal moan. Oh. Oh. The almost moan. Oh. The right on it moan. Oh, yes! The elegant moan. Oh, darling! The wasp moan. The Irish Catholic moan. Forgive me, Father! The African American moan. Oh, shit! The Latino moan. Mommy! Arriba! The mountaintop moan. The baby moan. Oh, Daddy! The doggy moan. The militant bisexual moan. The tortured Zen moan. The diva moan. The college moan.
performed for some time without any mention of birth. This was a bizarre omission. Then again, a male journalist recently asked, what's the connection? Our author, E. Vinsler, was present for the birth of her granddaughter. She was in awe of vaginas before that moment. She's in deep worship now.
I was there when her vagina changed.
We were all there. Her mother, her husband, and I, and the nurse from the Ukraine with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber glove as she talked casually to us, as if she was turning on a loaded faucet.
I was there in the room when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak out of her pores, and still there after hours when she just screamed suddenly wild, her arms striking the electric air.
I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual home to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal with a deep well with a tiny stuck child inside waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of vagina. They changed. Saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray pink, the dark, the blood-like perspiration along the edges. Saw the yellow, the white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing out all her holes, pushing harder and harder. Saw through the hole the baby's head, the scratches of black hair. Saw it just behind, the bone, the hard round memory, as the nurse from Ukraine kept turning her slippery hand.
I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing, and her husband sternly counting 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder.
We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forgot the vagina. What else would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there as the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoons, there as her vagina became a wide operatic mouth, singing with all its strength. First the little head, then the great flopping arms, then the fast swimming body swimming quickly into our leaping arms.
I was there later when I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood there and let myself see her all spread out, completely exposed, swollen, mutilated, torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hand who was calmly sewing her there. I was there, and her vagina suddenly became a wide, red, pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice, and so is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in. It can expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and die for us and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there in the room. I remember.
My revolution begins in the body. It isn't waiting anymore. My revolution does not need approval or permission. It happens because it has to happen. In each neighborhood, village, city, or town, at gatherings of tribes, fellow students, women at the market, on the bus. It may be gradual and soft, or it may be spontaneous and loud. It may be happening already. It may be found in your closet, your drawers, your gut, your legs, your multiplying cells, in the naked mouth of taut nipples and overflowing breasts. My revolution is swelling from the insatiable drumming in between my legs. My revolution is willing to die for this. My revolution is ready to live big. My revolution is overthrowing the state of the mind called patriarchy. It will not be choreographed, although it does begin with a few similar steps. It is not violent, but it does not shy away from dangerous edges where fierce displays and resistance tumble into something new.
My revolution is in this body, in these hips atrophied by misogyny, in this jaw wired mute by atrocity. My revolution is connection, not consumption. Passion, not profit. Orgasm, not ownership. My revolution is of the earth and will come from her, for her, because of her. It understands that every time we frack or drill or burn or violate the layers of our sacredness, we violate the soul of our future. My revolution is not afraid to press my body down. on her mud floors in front of cayenne, vine, chestnut, mulberry, redwood, sycamore trees, to bow shamelessly to yellow birds and rose blue setting skies, heart exploding purple bougainvillea and aqua seas. My revolution gladly kisses the feet of mothers, nurses, cleaners, healers, nannies, and all who are life and give life. And to those who carry empire-made burdens in and on their heads, backs, and hearts.
My revolution demands abandon, expects the original, relies on troublemakers, anarchists, poets, cheers, shamans, sexual explorers, mystic travelers, tricksters, tightrope walkers, and those who go too far and feel too much. My revolution shows up unexpectedly. It is not naive, but it does believe in miracles. It cannot be categorized, branded, targeted, or even located. It is determined by mystery and ecstatic joy, requires listening, and is not centralized, although we all know where we're going.
It happens in stages and it happens all at once. It happens where you live and it happens everywhere. It understands that divisions are divergence. It requires sitting still and staring deep into my eyes. Go ahead. Love.